Hey, everybody, I'm so glad you have you're all here today. I appreciate it. We are here in Albion, right? Did I say it right?
Albion.
Look at that, Albion. I can even pronounce upstate names correctly. It seems crazy, but I'm able to actually pronounce the names correctly. We're here at the Sportsmen. It's the Sportsmen's Association, right? The ABA. I'm so happy that everybody is here today. Thank you for coming. Those of you who came, thank you for watching. Those of you who are watching live. Why in the world would I be here yet again? I keep saying that because people are wondering, why is Larry Sharpe running around New York State again? I'm doing it because it matters. Voting gold this year is the most important time for you to vote gold. I can't think of a more important time to vote gold. But why, Larry? The world's ending. Trump is going to kill us, or Biden's going to kill us. One of them is going to kill us, depending upon what side of the aisle you're on. I got some bad news for you. If you care about who the president's going to be coming up here, you live in New York State. You're in New York State. You don't get a choice. That's how it works. Our 20 some odd electoral votes, they're going to Biden. Whether you like it or not, they're going to Biden. If you like Biden, good for you. If you don't like Biden, I'm sorry. They're going to Biden. If you live in Oklahoma, they're going to Trump. If you like Trump, good for you. You don't like Trump, I'm sorry. That's how that's working. So why in the world would you want to vote red or blue for Biden or for Trump this year? I don't know why you would. You are literally throwing your vote in the garbage. I'm asking you to do something more important than that. And that is, I'm asking you to vote gold for the future. Vote gold for the future. When it comes to the top of the ticket, it matters. It does matter. I say, well, Larry, what about locally? All right, I get it. I'll buy your story about Trump and Biden, and I'll vote gold at the top. Awesome. You're going to vote Joe Jorgensen at the top. Awesome. Good for you. What about locally? Well, why would you want to vote gold locally, particularly here in New York? Here's the most important piece. Are you looking at what's happening in our country right now? Are you saying to yourself, boy, I'm so happy with my Republicans, or boy, I'm so happy with my Democrats? Odds are you're not. Even if you are a Democrat or Republican, I hope you all turn Libertarian. That'd be amazing. But if you don't, and you still want to be a Republican or Democrat, I get it. But wouldn't you rather have better Democrats? Wouldn't you rather have better Republicans? Wouldn't you rather have a world where it's not just, I'm not the other, so vote for me. I'll protect you from the other, so vote for me. Wouldn't it be better if you were to actually sit here and have people talking about how they can help you out? A strong third party, a strong Libertarian party would do that. Remember something. Democrats are supposed to be about your civil liberties. Republicans are supposed to be about smaller government. They're supposed to be about less taxes. Are those things true? If you think they are, good for you. If you don't, how do we make them do that? How do we push them towards that? You vote gold this year. They got to go one step further. Yeah, I'm still not done. I got to make sure you understand something. After November, there are going to be tens of millions of unhappy Americans, no matter who wins. Trump wins, Biden wins, doesn't matter. Tens of millions of unhappy Americans. Where are you going to go? To us. And there are a lot of people right now who can build this party out, who can win locally, and who can do well locally, and who can build out infrastructure locally to help you out with real problems and real issues. I have one of those people today. Now, by the way, you might say, well, Larry, you're not wearing a mask. We're doing social distancing. We're all over 6 feet away and we're outside. We're good. We're good. You know, I always wear a mask when I'm inside and people are around. I do that, but we got distancing. We're outside. We're good. So I'm going to bring one up right now. So I'm running here locally. Mark Glogowski. Come on up, Mark.
Thank you, Larry. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Glogowski. I'm running for the 139th Assembly District. That covers all of Genesee County, almost everything in Orleans County, and 4 towns in western Monroe County, Hamlin, Clarkson, Sweden, and Riga. I'm running because I'm really fed up with the tyranny that we get put up. And we've actually become accustomed to thinking of it as just our good government in action. Well, it's not good government in action. It literally is tyranny that we exist with. And you can see it every day when you see in the newspaper the government giving another grant to another corporation. I'd like to use just a couple of examples here in the 139th Assembly District to let you know how this works. You probably heard of the 77 Stamp Act, the Stamp Project. It's a industrial project that was supposed to take place out on Route 77 in western Genesee County. And the concept was to develop an industrial park where professionals from Rochester and from Buffalo would travel to this industrial park and work and then travel back home. If you give it any kind of a thought, it's at least a 45-minute drive minimum from Rochester to this industrial park. And when you get there, the park was supposed to be situated in the middle of a basically cow country. For miles around, there's more cows than there are people. And for $28 million, which is what was in the budget back in 2012, in that budget was also funding for the SAFE Act. A lot of you are still fighting to get rid of the SAFE Act, but I assure you that when it finally goes and they rescind the SAFE Act, almost every piece of that litigation or that legislation is going to be put into a different bill. So it's just going to be lip service making you feel good that they got rid of the SAFE Act if they ever do. But back to the 77 stamp project. $28 million, and all we've got for it over the course of 8 years is a small road about a quarter of a mile long with two 50-foot spurs going into this cow pasture and a sewer line going from that site up to Orleans County sewer treatment plant. Orleans County doesn't have any industrial sewage to think of subsistence. But when the industrial sewer starts flowing, if it ever does flow, it's going to be the Orleans County residents that are going to have to pay for that sewage treatment. Fortunately, I don't believe anyone is hooked up to that sewer line, but that's all we got so far for $28 million. Not a single resident is on that industrial site. This is just one example of very poor follow through on the part of the incumbent. He's good at bringing home the bacon, that's what he likes to say. Bringing money into Orleans County, into Genesee County, theoretically into Western Monroe County. But reality is he doesn't follow through, and most of what he does is really just a sham. For instance, $10 million was donated to Genesee County 4 years ago to improve downtown Batavia. What that $10 million really represents are tax deductions given to this special group of people. It's an elite class of companies that won't have to pay taxes for 10 years. None. So basically, that $10 million represents the amount of money that you are going to be expected to pick up in the future for these elite group of companies. It's a sham. It's basically tyranny where the government is literally taking money from you and giving it to someone else. We need to put an end to that. I would like to be in the assembly so that I can end this tyranny. This past year, the third parties are going to suffer because of the litigation that went through in the budget. It went through unconstitutionally, and literally it will destroy the third political parties. I would like to put an end to that type of action on a part of our government, the tyranny that we have to live with. Vote for me in September, or in November rather, and I'll be more than happy to represent you and to start ending the tyranny that we have to live with. I'm going to turn this back over to Larry because I could go on for hours, really. Larry?
You guys heard that, and the most important piece about that is you heard someone actually talking about two things. One, solving a problem, doing something, but something else, accountability. Wouldn't you like to have more accountability in your government? Wouldn't you want a government that actually solves problems? What do you usually hear? How are we going to solve education? Oh, we got to care about the kids and care about them and care and care. How are you going to fix the environment? Well, you got to care and care and care, and we're going to do it. We're going to fix it. A lot of rah-rah, but no real answer. They don't have to have an answer because they're not the other. They guarantee that they assume that because you are red or blue that you're going to vote that way, and that's what you do. And if you keep voting that way, you keep getting the same thing. I'm asking you to look at people who are running third-party libertarian, who actually want to make change, who actually work hard. Look, some of you know this. This is the third time that I'm crossing New York State, every single county. What other candidate does that? I'm not even running, I'm doing that. This is how important this is to me and how valuable it is. I hope you see value in it. If you want accountability in your government, and I hope you do, it's your money, it's our money, and you got to think about who's going to keep the most, who's going to keep a good tab on somebody, who's going to look, who's going to actually make sure things are working the way they're supposed to work. I have an idea, an accountant. An accountant might do that. That might be a good type of person. And guess what we are so lucky to have here? We're so lucky to have someone here running for Congress, Western New York, Libertarian, who is an accountant, who wants accountability, who wants to make things happen, who wants to make real change in the state that he loves. I'm going to bring him up right now. If I can bring him up right now, Duane Whitmer.
Thank you, Larry. Thanks, everyone, for coming. I'm Duane Whitmer. I'm the Libertarian candidate for New York's 27th District. Ran in the special. We had a rough time, so now we're here doing more events, meeting more people, getting my name out there better, so we can have a better turnout come November. Why I decided to run was quite simple. When I went to vote in 2018 for my congressional candidate, I had someone who was indicted for insider trading, still hasn't faced jail time yet because he's better than you. If you or I did that, we'd still be in jail, but it's okay. He's in a separate class. He's in the political class. We're not. And I had someone else on the ballot who philosophically I did not agree with on many things. Coming from a small community, I understand the importance of firearms, whether it's protecting your crops, protecting your family. He does not. I understand the importance of being able to make your own decisions. He does not. And as I got involved in politics and became running more, it really stretched my libertarian views further because I've met more politicians. And the more politicians I meet, the more I need a smaller government. A lot of politicians I meet can't manage a blockbuster. Some of these politicians would turn Amazon, if they were in charge of Amazon, it would go bankrupt in 5 years. These people shouldn't be in charge of making the decisions that we should be making ourselves when it comes to how we treat our body, what we do with our body, what we do with our healthcare, what we do with how do we protect ourselves, who we marry, what we do with our property. And that's kind of what I'm kind of hammering. We see where this country is becoming more and more divided. People want to vote for Biden because they hate Trump supporters. People want to vote for Trump because they hate Biden supporters. It's now become, I want to vote for my guy to dominate the other side. And that's terrifying. What if we started voting for adults, people who didn't want to be in charge of your life, people who didn't know what's best for your life, but wanted to give you the power and ability to run your own lives? I'm not a prophet. I'm not all-knowing. I'm not a hero. We need to stop idolizing politicians.
I think you're a hero.
Thank you, Larry. I am kind of a hero. But we need to stop idolizing politicians and asking them for permission. Hey, who can I marry? What can I do to my property? What can I do to my body? What can I do with my life? And start saying, I know what's best for me. DC, Albany, they don't know. I mean, they can't run their own lives. Look how many of them are getting indicted, whether it's insider trading, whether it's corruption, fraud, whether it's Anthony Weiner and Schneiderman like to treat women terribly. Like, they're going to tell you how to live your life when they can't even run their lives properly. And they're going to run our government. They're going to run our lives. They're going to run our budget. It's just not working. The people we're putting in power are unable to do their own lives. And we're going to tell them to take over ours. It just needs to stop. We need change. We need accountability. One politician isn't going to make your life better. Although Larry Sharpe would have made my life better in 2018 if he was governor, because he would have given me more freedom. I understand that. But, you know, Donald Trump isn't going to solve all your problems. Joe Biden isn't going to solve all your problems. As evidenced by the fact they haven't solved the country's problems. Never-ending war, $26 trillion in debt. Let's talk about the stimulus plan. It costs $6,000 per person. You got $1,200. So they bailed out large corporations that donate to them. You got table scraps. One of the hardest times of your life, and they're making sure their donors are taken care of. They're making sure they're taken care of. Your paycheck may have stopped. You might have been fighting with New York State for unemployment. Hey, but don't worry, your congressman still got paid. It's okay. Their check's still cleared. They didn't have to go to work. A lot of you guys did with your grocery store. If you're an essential employee, you're still working. You're a little bit concerned. You're a little bit worried. But Congress got to stay home, so it's okay. You know, they're a better class apparently, and it needs to stop. We need to stop idolizing these people, treat them like they're any different than we are, and we need to start putting real adults in the room with real solutions. So that's why I decided to run, to provide an option where it wasn't just team red, team blue. It was, I mean, team U. It's kind of a dumb rhyme. I don't like that, but it is what it is. I said it. But I want to start putting people in place where they're going to make sure that you're living the life you need to live, and they're providing the freedom to do so. So that's why I decided to run. I'm going to turn it back over to Larry. Here he comes.
Two candidates, and you heard some of the most important things you could have heard. You didn't just hear a bunch of problems. You heard people talking about how we're going to fix this. Right? We talk about accountability. But Duane brought up something even more important. He brought up the idea of, is there a special class of people in America right now? And there's lots of people protesting about that right now, right? In the streets protesting, yelling and saying, oh my God, people are being treated unfairly. But what about the elite political class that we have? What about the elite wealthy class that we have? And you might say, well, Larry, are we gonna punish the rich like Bernie Sanders and make illegal billionaires? Not a libertarian way. What does libertarian do? It creates a better environment for everybody to grow. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. I spoke about happiness when I ran for governor, and people thought I was crazy. But that's what governance is supposed to be about. Our divorce papers from the UK said life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That's what they said. And we forgot that. We've become our father. We've gone away from, I'm going to be better than you, Dad. I'm about life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And now we've become, we are the empire. What matters is order. That's all that matters. Whoever we crush, who cares? My order or their order, but there'll be order. I don't want that. I want us to be about life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Duane said if I was governor, I would have given him more freedom. Kind of true, but what I actually would have done is taken away some of those restraints. Because I want you to have that freedom. I want everyone to have that freedom. I want you to think for a moment, if you would. Is there one thing that I can give everybody watching, everybody here, one specific thing I can give that will give everybody happiness now and then also 10 years from now? And the answer is no, because each of you needs something to be differently to be happy. And 10 years from now, you're a different person. What makes you happy now may not make you happy 10 years from now. So what can a government do? If me and my magic scenario of magic powers couldn't do it, then how can a government do it? It can't. What a government can do is allow you to pursue happiness to the best of your ability, the way you think you want to pursue it. Will you be wrong sometimes? Yes. Will you gain happiness and then lose it? Yes. Will you then have to chase it again? Yes. But that's life for all of us, for every one of us. And government should not be a hindrance to that. It should be helping to do that to the best of its ability, allowing you to be you. We have to unite in this country eventually. We simply have to. Otherwise, we're going to be in a terrible spot. How can you unite if, as exactly what Duane said, each side is saying, how can I dominate the other? Instead, understand the liberty movement is about, you can be as liberal as you want to be, as conservative as you want to be, just don't force your views on others. That's it. Follow happiness as you feel you should follow happiness. That's the uniting feature. I want to bring someone else up right now who's had to do some uniting himself. For many of you, you have to realize that the Libertarian Party in New York State, some of you don't know this, is a newly recognized party. And we have a new chair, also running for chair. Is that right? Yeah. Also running for chair, coming up here in the elections in September, this month, in September. I'm going to bring up now our current New York State Libertarian Party chair, Tony Dorazio.
Thanks, Larry. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I think that all the focus should go on people like Duane and Mark who are running for office in our state. And you'll see that I'm wearing this little billboard on my chest. This subtle little advertising for our presidential candidate, Joe Jorgensen. Joe Jorgensen and Jeremy Spike Cohen are running for president and vice president on the Libertarian line. If you are in New York, we need your vote. I know a lot of you are thinking, but it's a throwaway vote. It's a wasted vote. A vote you don't believe in, never wasted. A vote you don't believe in is always wasted. A vote you believe in is never wasted. Voting for people like Mark, like Duane, like Joe, is a vote for principle. It's a vote for ballot access. It's a vote to keep a third choice in our state. We need that. We need that now more than ever, especially in a state that is so deeply divided that we have people talking about dividing the state. Literally dividing the state. That's ridiculous. We're one state. We can all live together in freedom if we just have that third choice and take the chance and risk opening our mouths and saying, I'm going to vote gold. I'm going to vote for the Duane Whitmers and the Mark Glogowskis and the Kevin Wilsons and the Victoria Alexanders, the Mike Madrids, and the hundreds of other candidates that we've run over the past several years since we've gotten the ballot access. By the way, thank you, Larry Sharpe, for that wonderful gift you've given us. I'm doing my best to keep it. Doing my best. This is an important year. This is a year that we've faced a lot of infringements on our personal liberty. No matter how you feel about wearing a mask or how you feel about the virus, I know there's a lot of mixed views out there on people who are watching this. What we can all agree on is that the government has infringed on our civil liberties, and we need to stand up to that. And the only way to stand up to that is not going to be voting for the same two choices, box A and box B, that we've been voting for the past 200 years. The box that we need to vote for is going to be line F in New York, the Libertarian Party. F. The F stands for freedom. So thank you very much. I'm going to turn this back over to Larry. Please vote Libertarian this November.
I can't stress how important what Tony said really is. This is our year to make change. If we don't do it now, then when? This is the most important election ever, right? Of course it is. Every year it is that, I know. This time they're right. This election is too important to not vote gold. You have to vote gold this year. You simply have to. If you don't, think about what Tony just said. He said there's a lot of mixed views on the virus. They come in and they've torn up our state, our business, our economy. That's all true, but there shouldn't have been. Do you think if there was a libertarian governor or a libertarian president or a libertarian mayor or whatever it might be, do you think that person, do you think he or she would have decided, you know what, I'm going to lock everybody down, or I'm not going to? Or would they have actually instead decided that masks were now political or non-political? Of course not. I gave you the answer for the libertarian, the answer for COVID 6 months ago. 10 videos, how to fix it all, how to do the whole thing, a libertarian answer. And one of the #1 things was changing the culture, starting early, engaging community. There are counties in New York where most of the deaths, the vast majority of the deaths from COVID only came from nursing homes. And then there's New York City, where it came all over. The different counties have different answers for different issues. I shouldn't be having a one size fits all. It doesn't. The Libertarian Party understands that and would have instead taken the time to use the government for one thing that people tend to use it well for, which is a centralized repository for information. People like calling 911 or 311 or 411. Okay, great. Let's make that line. Let's make the COVID hotline and the COVID website where all the data can go on, but not just government data, nonprofit data, medical association data, where everyone could have looked at it and found the information. If we had done a libertarian solution early on, in February, as I talked about, in March, when I talked about, by now we'd have an answer across the entire state. By now we'd know what works in every county. By now there'd be no doubt. It wouldn't be masks are critical, masks aren't critical, masks kind of work, masks don't work, masks are the only answer. We would know what the answer is. We'd have all that information already now, and we'd be working it right in our state. We know if hand sanitizers matter or not. We know if social distancing is the right answer. There'd be no doubt. There wouldn't be the battle that Tony talked about. That wouldn't be happening in our state. We would know. It wouldn't have been political in the first place. We would have made it left or right. Not just that, we wouldn't have shut down our entire economy. That wouldn't have happened. We would have allowed the consumers locally to decide who they trust, when they trust, how they trust. Would some businesses have shut down? Probably. But consumers would have decided which ones. By their bad actions, by their bad intentions, consumers would have decided. So bad business owners, or those people who didn't care about their customers, would have gone under. Now those who went under were simply those who didn't have enough money to survive. That's it. Bad timing is why they went under. They might have been good people, and they're still gone. And bad people who would have done bad things, who had enough money, are still around. That's not a libertarian answer. Those people who are friends or cronies, Mark talked about it, how the right people get money. Duane talked about it, how the right people get money. Those people are up and running, no problem. What about the average person who's a good person, who just was in the wrong place at the wrong time? In a libertarian world, that doesn't happen. We are the answer for COVID. We are the answer to fix our country. We're the answer to fix our nation. Vote gold. Vote gold this year. Let's change our state. Let's change our country. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Everybody.